What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the final Week 6 preview prediction video I will be putting out here for this week. And let's go back to the swamp, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't talked about Florida since Week 1, I believe. I don't think we even previewed that Texas A&M and Florida game. I could be wrong on that, but we're going to head back to the swamp for another battle in the state of Florida. One of the newer Power 4 programs in the UCF Knights are going on the road to take on the Florida Gators. It's a little Big 12 versus SEC showdown, and we're here going to break it all down for you right after. I just thank all you guys for all the love and support that I continue to receive, and I know I say this a lot in pretty much every video, but I really do really appreciate it. And if you guys want to help support me any way you can on YouTube, just thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video and continue to do so. But you can also, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, especially if you're as big of a college football nerd as I am. You can also like, comment, share, and anything else you do to interact with the channel, help support what I do here on YouTube. But in case you want to follow me outside of YouTube, give me a follow on Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. It's at TailgateNate29, and I post about all the other field work I do to be a sports media professional and as a sports media student. So I'd really appreciate the support in any way that I can get it. And now, without further ado, let's take our attention back to Gainesville, Florida, and back to the swamp. 3-1 UCF, I believe. Yeah, 2-2 Florida. I mean, this really should be a very entertaining contest. Hey, how do we do preview predictions around here? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to take a deep dive into some keys to the game when each team possesses the football. So we will first look at the UCF offense versus this Gator defense, and then we'll take a look at the Gator offense versus the Knights defense at the end of the video. We'll take a look at just how I think this game is going to play out, some final thoughts, as well as a final score prediction for who I think is going to come away with the win in the swamp. Let's go ahead and dive on into it here. And let's first, as I just said there a little bit ago, start talking about this UCF offense. And I mean, come on. Just look at some of the numbers they put up there in terms of yardage. 543 yards per game. 7.1 yards per play is not necessarily going to pop out of you, but over 7 yards per play is really, really, really good. They have 217 passing yards per game, but it is this rush per game number that is the massive key to what this UCF team does offensively. 326 rushing yards per game. That's not passing yards. That's not total yards. That is rushing yards per game, and it is my first key to the game. Running, and did I mention running? Because this is a UCF team that just has so many athletes in that backfield to be able to work with, right? R.J. Harvey and Penny Boone, both of those guys were 1,400-yard rushers last year. They have at least 100 rushing yards on the season this year. K.J. Jefferson has 211 yards, 2 touchdowns. His ability to get outside of the pocket, the Arkansas transfer, is really valuable. He also has a pretty valuable arm as well. 7 touchdowns, 3 picks, 60% completion percentage, 847 yards for K.J. Jefferson through the air so far. This is the team that converts 50% on third down. The offensive line is spotty here and there. They allow an average of 2 sacks per game, and this team has turned the football over a little bit more than I think what a lot of Knights fans would have liked. But this is a team that is ground and pound. It'll beat you with explosive runs, explosive plays. But don't be fooled by the stat line here as well. They can throw the ball, and K.J. Jefferson is a very, very, very capable passer. So what can Florida defense do to slow this Knights offense down? Guys, I got to be totally honest with you. This is the Florida defense that just has not played well this season. They didn't play well last year. It hasn't played well this season. It's giving up way too much on the ground, way too much through the air. Sure, they're averaging around 2 sacks per game, but you feel like the pass rush could be a whole lot better. They haven't really forced a ton of turnovers, and they're on the field all the time because that third down percentage is not that great. The defense is on the field for 34 and a half minutes a game. That is what they average. This Florida defense just has to step it up in literally every facet. The biggest things that they can do to help generate some pressure and slow down what this UCF team does is, well, you got to win the battle on the line of scrimmage first off. Florida has some good athletes up there, has some really big guys. Of course, they have SEC talent. They need to be able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses in this UCF offensive front. You got to be able to create pressure. You got to be able to defend stunts, and you got to be able to bring your own stunts and blitzes, and you just have to be prepared for everything this UCF offense is going to throw at you, and you have to be able to contain things in the backfield. You cannot let this UCF offense rip off big play after big play after big play and third downs are going to be absolutely crucial in that. UCF, again, a perfect 500, 50% on third down so far this season. Florida's third down defense has not been very good. It might be one of the worst in the SEC this season. You got to win the battle on third down. If you don't, if you continue to allow this UC offense on the field, they run the football more often than they throw it anyway. They've ran 100 more running plays than they have passing plays so far this season. And again, while KJ Jefferson can throw, his ability to get outside of the pocket and affect the game with his legs is absolutely monstrous. You have to be able to defend the run in this game. If you can't even do that, I mean, boy, it is going to be a long, long, long day here for this Florida defense. And again, big part in that, win the battle on third downs. If you cannot win the battle here on third downs, well, UCF is literally and figuratively going to be able to run all over this Florida defense. That, again, I mean, you just take a look at those numbers there. Time of possession battle is going to be crucial. UCF, with the way that they run their offense, likes to control the clock. They like to play the game at their own tempo. And again, as long as Gus Malzahn is that head coach there, they're going to be able to run the ball really, really, really well. And they got a lot of really good running backs that are going to be able to do it. But I'm just beating a dead horse here at this point. Defend the run, win the battle on third downs. That's the key for this Florida defense. If you're on the side of the UCF Knights, what do you have to do to be able to come away with a win here? I mean, just continue to do what you have done this season, right? You don't have to come out and adapt some sort of super fancy game plan. Maybe get your offensive line to be a little bit better in pass protection. But again, a lot of those sacks have just been KJ getting out of the pocket and not being able to escape and use his legs to run, right? So the sack number might be a little bit inflated for UCF, but I'd say get your offensive line prepared to just be in a very physical battle. That's probably just the biggest thing you can push. Otherwise, keep working on your game plan. Continue to work fast. Continue to run the ball really well. If you do that, you're going to be able to come away with the advantage here, at least when UCF has the football. Now let's go to when Florida has the football. Graham Mertz or DJ Lagway. I really don't care who it is starting here. DJ Lagway, I believe, leads this team in passing yards. I will fact check myself there on that. Yes, he does. 617 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. Graham Mertz is 487 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Now, Florida has had a week off in the last game against Mississippi State. It was, I believe, more so Graham Mertz. Yeah, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns. But DJ Lagway did not have an incompletion. 7 for 7 for 76 yards. No matter who starts in this game for Florida, they need to have a dynamic arm because this UCF, as good as they are running the football, they're also really good at defending the run. And I'm going to take a quick water break because water is important. Make sure you stay hydrated. Now, has UCF faced a team that is going to run the football as well as what these Florida Gators do? I mean, probably not. Colorado, that they played last week, doesn't really run the ball that well. We know Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn. That's the main focus of that offense. TCU has got some pretty good running backs, but it has really been all on the shoulders of that quarterback in Josh Hoover over there, who had 400 yards in that game. Sam Houston is a fairly dangerous offensive tack. I know, don't laugh, and then they played New Hampshire in that first game. So no one really has been able to run the ball that well so far that UCF has played. Florida is definitely going to be their biggest test in terms of their run defense because overall, I mean, they just haven't really produced a lot of pass rush this year. It has got to be better in this game for the UCF Knights. You got to be able to defend the pass because Mertz and Lagway have a lot of really, really good weapons to be able to throw to, such as Badger and Wilson and DK. Those are the guys that have over 100 receiving yards and all the guys that have over 10 catches for this Florida Gators team so far this season. And again, running the football, well, Montrell Johnson has been running it pretty solidly there. Jaden Baugh, as a freshman, has been running well. So have guys like Jacoby Jackson, although those latter two names that I just mentioned only get about 3 carries per game. Trayon Webb has been a pretty solid piece so far, but again, Webb and Johnson, the two guys that have over 20 carries so far, are not even averaging 5 yards per carry. Florida can run the ball better than a lot of teams that UCF has faced so far this season, but I think the one thing that's especially going to have to step up is, well, yes, that run game for Florida, but the pass rush has got to be better for UCF here in this game. If it is not better, and I mean, look, this is the Florida offensive front that has gotten so much better than they were last season. They're giving protection to Mertz. They're giving protection to Lagway. They are letting them get the ball downfield. And that's why I think that Florida has the advantage in that regard. There are a lot of talented wide receiver pieces here for this Florida team. The secondary is, at least statistically, the weak point against this UCF defense. Again, they have faced teams that throw the ball, though, right? Colorado throws the ball. TCU throws the ball. Sam Houston, pretty dangerous attack in their own right? Mertz and Lagway need to continue that theme because, again, UCF did not fare that well against the passing attack of TCU. They didn't fare that well against the passing attack of Colorado. They almost lost that TCU game, probably should have, and they did lose that game against Colorado that past week in the bounce house. Mertz or Lagway, again, I don't care who it is. I believe it's probably going to end up being Mertz, but if I'm wrong and Lagway starts, fine, whatever. Both of them have got to be able to, again, no matter who starts, be that dynamic arm, be able to challenge the secondary, find your wide receivers downfield, and push the football downfield a little bit, right? Especially if that is Graham Mertz, who's long on the air, is only a 39-yard pass. Lagway has an 85-yard touchdown throw this season. Again, the pass rusher's got to be better for the Knights. I've already talked about that. Time of possession here, though, it should go to UCF, not only because Florida is not the greatest third down offense. Florida's defense on third down especially is just not that great. And it leads me in to where I'm going to start out with my prediction here in this game. UCF, I was a little surprised to find out that they are the 1.5-point consensus favorite over a lot of the sports books that I did look at while compiling a line here for this game. This is the sort of SEC Saturday night football game on SEC Network with a little bit of an odd start time at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Again, UCF the slight favorite here, and I'm going to go ahead and agree with the odds makers in this one. I just think that UCF is going to be able to win this game. Now, Florida's offense, I think, is going to be able to move because, again, UCF has not seen a team that's going to run the football as well as Florida will in this game. And again, Florida's got some pretty good quarterbacks there with Mertz and Lagway with some pretty good weapons that are going to be able to get the ball downfield, and they're going to give them time. UCF just doesn't have a very good pass rush, and Florida has got a pretty solid offensive line, at least so far through this season. Florida does turn the football over a little bit too much, and I do think that UCF will control the clock because Florida will not be able to get off the field on third down. They're not going to be able to slow down this UCF run game. This is going to be a close game back and forth, but I think UCF is going to start to pull away at the end. A late touchdown makes it respectable, but all in all, UCF will walk away 38-33 from the Swamp is my final score prediction. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comment section down below, and there are a ton of games this college football weekend. I wish I could make another video here for you breaking down all of the games, but sadly I am out of time for the day. I got to get going and doing some other things, but there's so much upset potential this week. Have a great college football Saturday, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Again, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. Have a good college football Saturday. Goodbye.